Yes, madam.
Yes,
Please,
ma'am.
begin.
Very good. So any doubts related to the previous what we have covered? Switching. We are covering switching since like long 2 days, right? So 2 days we have given to switching. Today is the third day what we'll be giving to switching, and most probably the last day for the switching, right? Switching is really very important because it is the back end of the cloud. So if anytime you are going to get recruited after your third year or your final year with your concerned corporates, which is going to come down to your college, and in case you are going to get placed with any network company or infrastructure company like cloud, Amazon and Google and all, so if you have this exposure, it's really going to get benefit you a lot, right? So the skill is very important. That's why I'm considering, I'm focusing much on switching part, right? So switching, the other topic of the switching, what we are going to discuss in switching is STP. Any doubts what we have covered? Please come back. Any doubts what we have covered? Guys, you have to let me know. You have to come back with your doubts. All good?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
If we can use the L3 switch in the L2 also, ma'am.
L3 switch in layer 2 as well. Yes. At access layer, you can use. No problem at all. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, you can use. No problem at all. Right? Any other doubts? Any other doubt? Let me give you a brief review. I mean, what we have covered, right? So we have covered VLANs. Any doubts here, guys? Maximum number of VLANs. Kumili. Maximum number of VLANs in the network. See, if you are not going to review, I'm really going to stop it here itself. I'm not going to tell you anything else apart from it. And then you can talk to anyone XYZ in your entire company or in your entire college. Maruvada. Molly. Nistala. Moksha. Moksha. Akash. Raj. Anyone? Sriram. Every time the number of the candidates are same who are attending my session, or is it different? Kanan sir.
Madam, almost same, madam. Since today it is Yugadi, I think some 5 students they are not yet joined. Anyhow, I am trying, madam. Almost all the students are same, madam. There is no difference.
No problem. But I cannot see anyone revising the things. See, it's of no use, let me tell you. No use, absolutely. I'm wasting my 2 hours here if nobody is going to respond me. Sriram, Anjana, Raj, Renuka, Shruti. Okay, what are VLANs? Anyone? Why you create VLANs?
Virtual lines.
Why you create VLANs? I'm not going to start ahead. You can escalate to anyone. I don't know. I will not teach anything until or unless you answer my questions.
To create more networks using one switch.
Mm-hmm. To create more networks out of a one single network. What are the benefits of creating VLANs? See, right now you might not taking my words very seriously, but I'm telling you, this exactly is what cloud says. This is backend of the cloud. And you are hearing a lot of terms about clouds. Amazon, Google, they are getting recruited with this and this package. How they are recruited? Because they're studying this in the third year itself. So if you ask me, okay, Aparna, you have to talk. You just have to say something for 2 hours. I'm good with it. See, I'm being paid for 2 hours. Hardly matters for me whether you learn or whether you don't learn. I'll speak here. I'll go back. I'll speak here again. I'll go back. But if you're not studying, it's a total loss of you. You are exactly wasting your 2 hours sitting here and listening to me. Probably my scrap. But when you will pass out of your college, when the company will ask you to get trained on this, then you will start taking all these things seriously. Because again, I'm telling you, I train corporate guys. I don't take any college sessions and all, but it's on a special request that I'm taking your batch. So please make use out of it. Please, again, I'm saying. We have covered VLANs. Benefits of VLANs is to enhance the security, to reduce the size of the broadcast domain. If I'm having a switch which was 24 port or a 96 port, the broadcast domain size was quite large, right? So to break down that size, we have created the different logical local area networks so that the broadcast gets confined within those local area networks, right? Then I'm flexible. I can sit on any floor, right? I'm flexible. I have the local area networks for IT, sales, admin, marketing on every floor, ground floor, first floor, second floor, till 10th floor. I have. That's what are the VLANs. How much maximum VLANs I can create is 4096, if anyone asks you. And the range is 0 to 4095. So 4096 is no VLAN. Even the corporate guys, they don't know. They get confused here whenever I teach them. They're working with the organization, right? So you should know, right? Inter VLANs we have covered. We have seen that since these VLANs are the different LANs, different local area networks, different LANs, right? So to make these different LANs talk to each other, we have inter VLAN. You know the concept of trunk port? What is the role of the trunk port? Anyone? What is the role of the trunk port?
Tagging
See,
the traffic.
for yes, Tagore, come back.
Tagging the traffic for vegans, multiple vegans.
Exactly. Tagging the traffic for multiple VLANs. Tagging the VLAN. Tagging the frame with a VLAN number. Very good. See now onwards, what I will do. Every session, I'm going to mark you. Every session, I'm going to mark you now. Right? So the more you participate, the more marks you will get. I'm not going to give you any 10 questions or 15 questions as been told to me. No, I'm not going to do that. I will ask you questions and based on that list, Every day I'm going to mark you something. Right? So trunk port. Okay. Tagging the VLAN. Very good. Okay, very good, Tagore. Now, what is the encapsulation which trunk uses? What is the encapsulation which trunk uses? Anyone? So I'm going to give you the marks for today even. Please come back. Based on that, based on my marking criteria, you will get selected from here or to here. So what is the encapsulation which trunk uses for marking or tagging? Raj.
.1Q.
Very good, Lanka. Very good, Mohan. What is the difference between layer 2 and layer 3 switch? What is the difference between layer 2 and layer 3 switch?
Layer 2 switch does not understand IP addresses.
Very
It
good,
works
Tagore.
on one. It's only work on MAC address.
Very good. Very
Layer
good.
3 switch can understand IP address also.
Layer 3 switch can understand IP address. Very good. So layer 3 switch is like a router. Layer 2 switch is like a switch which only understands MAC. What do you understand by ARP? What is ARP?
Address resolution protocol.
Very good, Kimili. Address, what it does?
It requires the MAC address of the device.
It resolves the IP to MAC. Very good. It gets the MAC of the particular interface or device. Okay, fine. What do you mean by SVI? Switched virtual interface. What do you mean by switched virtual interface? Where you create it? Anyone? See, I'm marking you based on this. I'm not going to give you any test. So be very participative. Every day I'll do it. So be prepared before attending my session. Renuka, Rajkumar, Anjana, Sriram, Preeti, Shruti. Sravanti. Venkat. Pavan. Srikant.
Ma'am, which is used to connect the routers switch layer 3 devices to the VLANs.
Good. But why you create them? Why you create them? Why you create them? Anyone? Yes, Tagore, you can, no problem.
Whenever one host in one VLAN wants to communicate with another host in another VLAN.
Good. Yes, Murali. Go ahead, Krishna. Yes. So this acts as a gateway, right?
Yes, ma'am.
These acts as a gateway for VLANs. Switched virtual interfaces. Basically, they act as a gateway of VLAN. What is gateway? What do you understand by gateway? Let's say here is a room and this has one door here, another door here, and you are sitting here. What is your gateway? See, you have to go out. You have to go out. Right. Now, what is the gateway for this man? 2 or 1? 2?
1, ma'am.
1, ma'am.
So all of you will say 1, which is fine because I have not told you. So I have told you the gateway is the gate to go out. Fine. But whatever is the next hop which is visible to me is the gateway, becomes my gateway. The immediate next hop is the gateway. See, I don't have any info of this guy. I don't know about this gate. I can see this gate. So this becomes my gateway. Immediate next hop. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Very nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Very nice. Girls are not participating. No problem. Anyways, girls will not get any marks. No problem. Okay, fine. Till here, it's fine. Okay. So, okay, access. What are access ports? What are access ports? Trunk port, you have told me. It carries the multiple VLAN traffic and it is responsible for the tagging of the traffic. Fine. What are access ports? Participate, guys.
Transmit data from the VLAN.
One girl. Yes. Go ahead. Who's this? Yes. Please tell. Who's this?
It transmit data from VLAN. It acts like a switch to transmit data.
Nistila. It actually it is a port which is by default. So all the ports of the switch are access ports to where the servers are connected. Servers are connected. Or PCs are connected. So by default, the port mode of the port is access, but we have to convert it to the trunk. Why? Because if this switch number 1 has multiple VLANs connected here, VLAN 1 till let's say 10, and it has to tell it to some another switch, maybe a layer 2 switch only, that okay, this is VLAN 1. VLAN 1 is admin or native or default. What do you mean by native? Native means untagged. I don't require any tag to go out. All devices know me. Router knows me, switch knows me, layer 3 switch knows me, firewall knows me, load balancer knows me, everyone knows me. I don't require anything. But the other VLANs, 2, 3, 4 till 10, they require a tag. Why? Because this switch 2, who's going to tell this switch 2 that this frame is coming from VLAN number 2? This trunk port, because he is going to tag the frame with VLAN number 2. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Very good, Nistra. At least you tried.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, Srika. Good. So native means untagged. Fine. So okay. So we are good. Now the next protocol is VTP, which is VLAN trunking protocol. VLAN trunking protocol. See, probably in some organization you might see Cisco is there, or you might see Juniper devices are there, or you might see Alpha Bridge devices are there, and there are a lot of vendors, there are a lot of companies which make switches, routers, but the protocol is protocol. It is going to work in the same way as we are studying, whether it is a Juniper switch or any other XYZ switch or Cisco switch or any other XYZ switch. Probably the command line or the way of configuration is different, but the concept and the protocol is a standard, right? So it will never change, right? So the important things is to learn the concept. So VLAN trunking protocol, right? So VLAN trunking protocol is a protocol which is responsible for updation of all the VLANs. Updation of all VLANs. That means, let's say in your organization, tomorrow you have switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4, switch 5, right? And they are connected like this, right? They are connected, lot of switches are there in your organization. Now, or you have to configure all these switch from VLAN number 2 till 10. So VLAN 1 is by default there, I told you. Now you have to log in into each and every switch and you have to configure, right? So at least if you have 100 switches, then you have to configure 100 switches by logging in and configuring. So you have to come up with a better solution. What is the better solution of configuring it is the VTP. It is responsible for carrying all VLAN updates. Carrying all VLAN updates. That means, what if I'm going to make one switch as a boss? That boss is known as server. And the rest of the switches as clients. That means I will add everything, add, delete, modify everything in server. And the same replica gets updated in the clients, gets updated from server. So we are not allowed to do anything in the client. So if you are going to say, okay, add a VLAN number 2 in a client switch, it will throw back you an error that I am not allowed, right? So gets update from server. So by default, all the switches are in the server mode. They are not allowed to, they are always allowed to add and delete a VLAN. But once you will convert the switch mode to VTP client, it will get updated from the server. Now there is one more mode about it, which is known as transparent. Now you will think, what is transparent? Transparent mode is a mode which keeps on listening. I will keeps on listening VLAN and passing. So it will not update its VTP database or VLAN database. It will listen, it will pass it to the client. So the best example you can consider, like, what if I'm going to have 10 floor building, right? I'm going to have 10 floor building, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? Now, let's say on 3rd floor, there is a renovation going on and no users or no people or no PC servers are connected here. So you will put layer 2 switch here, layer 2 switch here, which will keep on updating. So probably this is the server and rest all are the clients, because you want that easy management should be there with the server. So I made this, I'm sitting here and I made this switch as server, but nobody is sitting on this 3. So what I'll do, I will make it as client. I'll configure the other switches as client, but the 3rd number switch will become transparent. Got it? So what it will do, I will add, let's say, VLAN number 2 here. It will go get passed to the client, but it will, this switch will update itself, but this switch will just listen and pass on the updates to the other clients. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So I have VTP as VLAN trunking protocol. VLAN trunking protocol. By default, it has 3 versions, version 1, version 2, version 3. This is the default version, right? It has 3 modes. 3 modes: server, client, and transparent. I have told you about all these 3 modes. This is the boss, can add, delete, or modify VLANs. Modify VLANs. Client cannot add, delete, or modify VLANs. Transparent passes VLAN updates. Okay. What are the conditions for the VTP to work? You should always configure inter-switch links as trunks. Why? Because all is the tagged traffic, right? Inter-switch links should be configured as trunks. Should be trunks. And that's it. That's all what you have to do for the VTP, right? Now, how you will configure it? Let me showcase you. You will have 3 switches. Switch number 1. It can be layer 2 switch, it can be layer 3 switch, hardly matters. But right now I'm showcasing you this with the Layer 2 switch only. So F0 by 1, F0 by 1, F0 by 2, F0 by 2. You can take any port of the switch, right? We will make this as server. We will make this as client. We will make this as client. Change your clothes, Ale. Okay. Then we will add VLAN number 10, 20, 30, 40 here. And we will see that whatever VLANs we are adding, this gets replicated here. These will be trunk ports. You know that it has to be trunk. Why? Because we have to carry the VLAN updates. We have to carry the VLAN updates. So it has to be trunk. Otherwise, switch 1 will never transmit its VLAN updates to switch 2 and 3. Do you get it? Take a screenshot. I'm going to implement this. This is VLAN trunking protocol. Done with the screenshot?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now have a look. Right. So what I'll do, I'll do this. So what we'll do, we'll get into switch 2950. These are all layer 2 switches. 3560 is your layer 3 switch. This is Cisco, right? This is Cisco. So what we'll do, 1, 2, 3. Right? We'll take an automatic cable 1 to 1, 2 to 1. Why? Because it works on a first come first serve basis. So this is port number 1, port number 1, port number 2, but port number 1. This will be server, this will be client, this will be client as per your topology. It's the screenshot I have given you. So the screenshot is basically here it is F0/1, right? Switch 0, switch 0, switch 1, switch 2, right? Switch 0, enable configuration, hostname, switch SW1, host 1, let me put it server. See, host name you can put anything, it's your name. It's hardly going to affect your VLAN configuration, right? I will give it a name, enable configuration, hostname, switch to client 1, right? Last switch, this is as per your topology, configuration, hostname, switch 3, client 2, right? So this is first switch, which is server. Let me check the show VLAN brief. Right now there is no other VLAN. I'm checking onto the other switch. Show VLAN brief, right? There is no other VLAN, you can see. And Control Z to come out, show VLAN brief. You can see there is no other VLAN, right? So all of the switches don't have any other VLAN apart from the reserved VLANs. What we will do in this topology, in this topology, we will make both these ports as trunks. Now all the ports of the switches are in the auto negotiation mode. Auto negotiation mode means if this port will become trunk, this will automatically negotiate itself. Similar, if this will become trunk, this will again auto negotiate itself. Got it? Everyone? Auto negotiation. Got it? That means whatever is being configured on one port, the other port will auto negotiate itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So what I'll do, I will make both these ports as, for the middle switch, I will configure it as trunk. Interface range F0/1 till 2 switch port mode trunk. Sorry. Trunk. So the moment they will become trunk, the moment both the ports will become trunk, they will auto negotiate themselves, because this will ask this port to come up and this will ask this port to come up, right? So let these ports come up. Wait. So what we have to do, we have made it as a trunk. So let me check on this port. Show interface trunk. See, port number 1 has become trunk. I have not made it. Similarly, the last switch, the port has also become trunk. I have not changed it. You can see this, right? Now, the middle switch. What I'm going to do, so exit. Right, so the trunk is important. Now, I will get into the first switch. Configuration, VTP mode server. See what prompt it is showing me. Device mode is already VTP server. I will get into the second switch. I will say VTP mode client. See, setting device to VTP client mode. Then I'm getting into third switch. VTP mode client. Right? Now, there is one more thing which has to be same. That is the domain name. It has to have the same domain name. VTP domain abc.com. abc.com. Let's say this is your company name. So all the switches has to be in abc.com. VTP domain abc.com. Right? Similarly, VTP domain abc.com. Right? So all the three switches should be into the same domain. Now I am adding VLAN. VLAN 10, name X, VLAN 20, name Y, VLAN 30, name Z. That's it. Show VLAN brief. This is my server in which I have added 3 VLANs. You can see 10, 20, 30. This should get replicated to the client switches as well. That's the VTP. So I'm getting into the middle switch. I'm checking whether it gets replicated or not. Can you see this? This has replicated. Similarly, show VLAN. This gets replicated. Any doubts here? Any doubts? Any doubts with the VTP? Everyone? Have you understood the concept of VLAN trunking protocol?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Move on to the other protocol, STP. STP is spanning tree protocol. I have given you the book. Please read that book because all these protocols has been mentioned very clearly in the book. So spanning tree protocol is IEEE 801.2D. 802.1D. So this is the IEEE standard, right? So what is STP? This is a protocol which is responsible for breaking the loops. For breaking loops. Now, why looping happens? Because switch, flood and learn. That is the basic mechanism. So every switch will flood and learn. So what happens whenever you connect the switches in a back-to-back or in an enclosed manner? Let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this, they will form a loop. Why? Because if the PC sitting here needs to talk to the PC sitting here, what happens? This will flood, this will flood, this will also flood, as a result of which there is a loop. So to break this, STP is now an inbuilt protocol of every switch, and it takes 50 seconds to diagnose that which port has to go blocked so that it can have a loop-free communication. Doubts? Doubts? It should have a loop-free communication. Why? Because this port has to be blocked. One port has to be blocked just to have the loop, so that to break the loop, to break the enclosed manner. That's why you have noticed that whenever I was making any changes or I am connecting a switch to a PC or to any other switch, it takes some time. That time is for STP. Whether you are connecting it in an enclosed manner or not, STP runs. STP runs and it takes 50 seconds for every port to make it up. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So there are few terms: AAA, BBB. How this works? See. There are few terms which needs to be understood. This is, let's say, 100 Mbps. This is 100 Mbps link, and this is also 100 Mbps link, right? This is port number 1, port number 2, port number 1, port number 2, port number 1, port number 2. Now few terms. How to decide that which port needs to be blocked? STP is working fine, but how it decides? So there are few terms about it. First thing is the boss who's elected. That is known as a root bridge. As soon as any switches, they will start connecting with each other or to a PC, they will start sending the hello packets. Hello. Says hello. Hello. So everyone will say hello. Hello, who are you? So who are you? Hello are technically known as BPDUs. BPDUs. Bridge Protocol Data Units. Bridge Protocol Data Units. These are basically hello packets. Why? Because to elect a boss, they all have to get satisfied. Okay, this is our boss. So they exchange the hello packets to decide, okay, we all see, like, we vote no that, okay, this is going to be our chief minister or prime minister or any MLA election. So similarly here, they will talk, they will vote among themselves, and they will all come on to a conclusion that he is going to be a boss. So he is going to regulate the entire topology. So that boss is known as root bridge. And the hello packets they exchanges, and how they this is elected based on the lowest priority and lowest MAC ID. Lowest MAC ID, which is also known as bridge ID. Either you say MAC ID or bridge ID, it's same. So priority is 32768 plus VLAN ID. Every VLAN has its own spanning tree instance. So basically you can say that the priority is a tie. Until or unless you change it with a CLI, then it's okay. Otherwise, if you are not changing it with a CLI, priority is a tie, right? It's same on all the switches. So the election for the root bridge comes on to the MAC ID. These two details are exchanged in between all the switches in the hello packets. That is the BPDU packets. right? Every BPDU, every switch will start exchanging, okay, this is my priority and this is my MAC. This is my priority MAC. This is my priority MAC. So all the hello packets when exchange, they say, oh, we have come on to the conclusion that this is going to have a lowest MAC. Let's make him a root bridge. Got it? Doubts? Doubts? Clause. All ports of root bridge are forwarding. Forwarding means DP, designated port. DP means designated port. Designated ports. All ports of root bridge are forwarding. DP, that means designated port, right? And they send the traffic towards root bridge, towards the other ports. Now, another term. Another term is root port. Another term is root port. Root ports are also DP. DP means forwarding. They are not blocked. Directly connected ports. Directly connected ports to root bridge. Or least cost to reach root bridge. Least cost to reach root bridge. Now what is cost? For 100 Mbps, IEEE has given certain costs. That is 19. So the port 19. 19. Cost is 19. Cost is 19. See, bandwidth is of a port, never of the link. You know that, right? So this is having 19 cost. This is having 19 cost. This port has 19 plus 19, 38 to reach the root bridge. This port has 19 plus 19 to reach the root bridge. That is 38. So this is a tie. We never consider it, right? So we say that root port is the least cost. That means this becomes my root port. They send the traffic towards root bridge, and this becomes my root port. They also send the traffic towards root bridge. So fine. Now I'm left with only two ports, this port and this port. So one has to be blocked, right? So technically the term is DP, that is forwarding, which will become DP and which will become blocked, right? So designated ports. Designated or forwarding. Forwarding ports, right? So 4 conditions. Least cost to reach root bridge. Lower sender MAC और bridge ID एक ही बात होती है, it's same. Lowest port priority, which is by default 128 for all the ports, and lowest port number. If this is a tie, this will come here second. If this is a tie, it will come on third. If this is a tie, it will come on fourth. So you can take a screenshot of this. Now, if you have taken the screenshot.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in these two ports, which will become blocked? Can you tell me? Because I'm left with only two ports. In this port and this port, which will be blocked? Compare your screenshot. First point is lowest cost to reach root bridge. This is having 38. To reach root bridge, this is also having 38. Second point, lowest sender MAC ID. Who's having lowest sender MAC ID? This port or this port? It's hexadecimal, guys. Tell me. Engineering here. You are doing engineering. B is smaller or C is smaller?
B, ma'am.
Very good. So this will become DP and this will become blocked. Got it? So all the traffic of the VLANs will flow like this. Got it? This is known as STP. How to check it? We will do a lab on it. We will connect 3 switches, 1, 2, 3. And we will see which will become root bridge and which will become blocked, which port is blocked. So there is a looping. Any one of you can share your screen if you have an access. गए चाची चले गए ये दोनों माँ बेटियां बातें ही बनाती रहती हैं बैठी बैठी चल अच्छा है, इनका समय पास होता रहता है trunk right guys. So now what we have to do, this is STP. How it is working, we have VLAN 10 20 10 20 and what we are going to do, we are going to make this as server, this as client and this as client, right? Anyone can share his screen and can do this? Anyone can share his screen and do it? I'm asking something. Please respond.
Ma'am, we are logged in with mobile, ma'am.
Everyone is logged in via mobile.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
What a great learning you guys are doing. Take a screenshot, we will implement it. We cannot do inter VLAN here because if I will connect a layer 3 switch, then we can do. I am not putting any layer 3 switch. I'm putting simple L2 switches, but this STP works well with layer 3 switches as well, right? Taken the screenshot?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the last
ma'am.
topic. This is the last topic of your switching. Understand it. So from next lecture, I'm going to start with the routing, but I'll take a small test for switching, right? So as per like what I have given to you, 1, 2, 3. Please keep on referring to your topology, what I have given to you. Port numbers can differ, but you have to understand that whatever the, since I have the VLANs, so whatever the port numbers I'm being taking, that will be all trunks. See, it takes time. See, it takes time. Now it is connected in a enclosed fashion. It takes 50 seconds and it will, all the ports will become green and one will be red. So here I can see, okay, this port is blocked. But what in the actual environment? Let's say my all the switches are kept in the Bangalore location and I'm working in Delhi location. Now I need to ask the guy in Bangalore, I need to travel down everything back to Bangalore and I have to see that, okay, now this port is blocked. No, I cannot do that. So what is the best thing to do? Show spanning tree. It will give me the exact status which port is blocked. Can you see one port is blocked? Which port is blocked? Which port can you see is blocked?
Switch 0 F0 between FA0.
Very good, Srikanth. Switch 0 F0/2 is blocked, right? So some switch is the root bridge. I don't know, but before that I will configure all the ports as trunk because I will be having multiple VLANs. I will be configuring VTP server and clients, and then I will be checking the show spanning tree. But it hardly affects either if you have VLANs in your environment or if you don't have VLAN, the output is exactly same. Why? Because every VLAN has its own spanning tree instance. And there is only one root bridge elected. It doesn't depend upon the VLAN number. Either in case you have 100 VLANs, still one root bridge is elected, right? So let me check which switch is the root bridge. Let me get into switch 0, switch 1, switch 2, right? So let me check. So let me get into switch 0. Let me check. As of now, I don't have VLAN. I have only VLAN 1. Fine. So show switch 0, right? So configuration, hostname, switch 0, server, right? I will give it a name server. Switch 1, enable configuration, hostname, switch 1, client, switch 2, CLI, enable configuration, hostname, switch 2, client, right? So right now I am not configuring any VTP. I'm just showcasing you the spanning tree. Show spanning tree. So let me see which switch is the root bridge. Hey, this switch is the root bridge. For VLAN 1, this bridge is the root. So that means this switch is the root. So whose MAC is this? My MAC is also this. Hello time every 2 seconds. Maximum age, if I don't listen any hello from my neighboring switch for 20 seconds, I will declare it dead. Both the ports are designated. That means status is forwarding. Port cost is 100 Mbps. That's why it's 19. Port priority is 128 and I'm a point-to-point link. Can you see? Switch number 1, the root bridge. Very good. Similarly, I will go and check with switch 0. Show spanning tree. Somebody is the root bridge. Whose address is this? I don't know who is it, but its MAC is this. My MAC is this. My one port is root port, status is forwarding. My another port is alternate and the status is blocked. Got it? Similarly,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Similarly, in switch 2, I will say somebody is the root bridge. I'm not. Whose MAC is this? But my MAC is this. My one port is root forwarding and another port is designated forwarding. Got it? This is how you will check the spanning tree. You are not going to go to, probably your network operations center is being deployed on the 11th floor and you are sitting on the ground floor. So definitely you are not going to go every time to the 11th floor and check the port status of the switch. So this is the command which tells you exactly this port is blocked. Got it? But the advantage of this kind of the topology or the environment is that in case if any link, let's say this fiber cut happens, this will immediately, and this port is blocked, this port will immediately open itself because of the STP. Why? Because the traffic probably might be traversing while like this and the fiber cable is faulty or the cut, it will immediately open up the secondary path for the traffic to flow. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
That means if an STP failure happens, your blocked port is an alternate. See, it gives you the role. It gives the role. My switch number 0. It says My port is blocked, but it is an alternate. Alternate means if my primary path through which the traffic was going is down, I'm an alternate to it. I will open myself and I will come to know about this within 50 seconds. After 50 seconds, I will get to know because it is STP convergence time. I cannot help it out. But I can always make it fast by doing some uplink fast or backbone fast or port fast. There are certain command lines for that, but I'm not going to discuss it right now. Right? Now, what I will do, as per your topology, I'm going to configure this as server. This port is blocked in your topology. Everything is open, right? So what I'll do, I will configure this as server. Rest these are clients and these as trunk ports. So let me go and configure the trunks. Why? Because I want the VLAN to happen in my environment. Configuration, interface, range, F0/1 till 2, switch till 2, switch port, mode, trunk, right? Switch 1. Let's go to switch 0. Both the ports are trunk. I know that one of the trunk is automatically becoming up, but let me configure it on all the switches. Because both the ports in every switch is trunk, right? Right. So all the ports are trunk. Why? Because I want the VLANs in a lot of VLANs I want to configure. So I'm finding a shortcut. Why cannot I configure like this? Though I can get into every switch and I can configure it as okay, VLAN 1020, 1020, 1020, but that increases my work overhead. So I will say VTP mode server, VTP domain abc.com. Similarly, I'll get into switch 1. I'll go to the configuration, VTP mode client, VTP domain abc.com. abc.com is my organization name. You treat it like this. Configuration, VTP mode client, VTP domain abc.com. Got it? Fine. Okay, so let's add. Just wait, guys. 1 sec. Yeah. Yes. So what I'm going to do in server, I'm going to add VLAN 10, right? VLAN 20, VLAN, let's say 20. So let's say only 2 VLANs, right? So it takes time, no problem. So in switch 1, let me see whether my VLAN is updated or not. Show VLAN brief. See, any doubts, please come back. This is the client switch. It has updated the VLAN. This is again one of the client switch. Let me check. Show VLAN brief. I can see that it has also updated the VLAN, right? Now switch 1 was root bridge for VLAN 1. Let me check. Show spanning tree. Can you see for VLAN 1? This bridge is the root. Both the ports are forwarding, right? For VLAN number 10, this bridge is the root. So it hardly matters how many number of the VLANs you have. STP is going to work in the same way, and for all the VLANs, one which is the root bridge, which will always be a root. And the one, so my all VLAN traffic is going to flow like this, and this. So this link is totally blocked. So all my VLAN 1 till 10, 10, 20, this will flow like this, just to avoid the blockage. Got it? In case anything happens to the primary link, this will get open so that it can provide the secondary path. Any doubts? Got it? Everyone? So this was your today's topic, STP, right? In case you have doubts, you have 10 minutes to go. So you can ask me whatever your doubts are, right? So this is your STP. And there is a faster version of STP which is known as RSTP, Rapid Spanning Tree Protocol, Rapid STP. Which takes only 30 seconds, and the procedure is same, but it is not by default enabled. You have to enable it, right? Faster version, and that's it. That's all. So let me write down your task. What you will? Yeah. Come back with the questions. Yes. Please tell. Yes, Shrikant. Bolo.
Ma'am, in my circuit, the switch S2 is blocked, ma'am. Switch S2, FA0/2 is blocked, ma'am. Then how it will become?
Switch 0 F0/2 is blocked by default automatically. STP is inbuilt protocol now.
Switch 2, ma'am. The switch 2, F0/2 is blocked, ma'am.
So in your topology, can you share your screen?
Ma'am, can I share screenshot, ma'am?
You cannot share your screen. No problem, Shrikant. If it switch to F0/2 is blocked, it's fine. Any one of the port will go block. It is automatically, no problem. You can check show spanning tree in all the switches, and you will see which switch is becoming root bridge. Fine, no problem. Got it, Shrikant?
Okay.
No problem at all.
Yes.
Layer 2 switch. Layer 3 switch. This is VLAN 100, 200, 300. The pool is 192. The pool is 10.0.0.0/24. VLAN 100 has 60 users. VLAN 200 has 60 users. VLAN 300 has 60 users. You know subnetting. You know subnetting? Or no? Tell me.
We know, ma'am.
You know. So subnet it with a /26/26/26/. So you have 4 subnets with a /26. Acha, do subnetting. Okay, do subnetting of this. Tell me what are the subnets you are getting. Go ahead. So you have to assign the subnets to VLAN 100, 200, 300 and take the first valid IP of every subnet. First valid IP of each subnet. As gateway. That means SVI. You have done inter VLAN. This will be trunk. This will be trunk. This will has to get enabled with IP routing. And first of all, for me, please do this. Tell me the subnets what you are getting. Then I'll guide you ahead. You can even paste on chat. Do the subnetting and paste on chat. Do the subnetting of 10.0.0.0/26. How you are going to do it? First day lecture, you have told me everything correct. So I'm presuming that the subnetting is strong. So this is the simulation, what you have to do. Please take a click of it. Please take a click of it, right? And you can paste it on chat. I'm waiting.
మాట్లాడుతుంది
So yes, all good. You have worked a lot hard on it. Now you got the solution. See, whenever we say it, no, just do the submitting. This thing hardly matters for me. What matters for me is that I have 24 bits fixed and I have to vary it 26. So maybe it is a class A network, but now it is going to behave like as a class C network. Okay. Tagore, Mohan, Srikant, Raj, Krishna. So what you have to do, you have to create SVI where you are going to specify the subnet, right? So basically what you are going to do, you are going to create 3 different subnets /26, 10.0.0.64/26, 10.0.0.128/26. Only 3 subnets I needed. So the valid IP range you have written is this. What? Everyone?
127.
Exactly. 127 is the broadcast ID, dear. Similarly, 60 is the broadcast ID. Similarly, 191 is the broadcast IDs. These are broadcasts. These are never used. Anytime I was asking you were giving me this IP. This IP is the home address, family address. This is not a person's address. A server or a PC or an interface will always have the IP from this valid range. Right? So whenever I will ask you the gateway IP or any server IP, you have to follow this range. So I asked you in the question that the first valid IP should be the gateway. This is the first valid IP. This is the first. So these 3 IPs with the /26 will get specified in your L3 switch. You know the configuration of L3 switch now, right? And the rest IP like 10.0.0.2.66.130/26, that means the same subnet mask, you will be assigning it to the PCs and the gateway will be these first valid IPs of the PCs. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice, very, very nice. So this is your assignment. So that's what we have done today. So it was a little bit of practice. That's why I kept silent so that you guys can exactly have a look at it, right? So what is this is the lab task, right? This is the lab task. You can take a screenshot of it, right? So I'm going to paste it in my paint, right? Control V. So this is the file, save as lab task day 3, right? Switching, right? This is one task which I'm giving you. What he's saying. I think this will not take like this. Lab 3 switching. Day 3 switching. Right? So here I'm going. Okay. So again you have to guide me. What I have to do with a Gmail? Gmail. So where I have to upload? In this?
Classroom, ma'am. That will get it.
Classroom, ma'am.
Which one? Here. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you understanding what we are doing here?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am. GMRIT system network.
Ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So have you done this lab which I gave you? This who gave this router? This I gave this, right? So okay, fine. So have you worked on this? Any doubts?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Hmm.
10.1.1.0 it does not take, ma'am. It shows a bad IP address, ma'am.
Same thing. I told you. The same doubt you are asking. Who's asking this? Srikant? Who's asking this?
Yes, ma'am.
Srikant, the same thing. You don't have, this is the home address. It will never get assigned to a server or an interface or an SVI. Never ever.
Later I
Always
will change it.
valid IP range 10.1.1.1, 10.1.1.2. It's like that.
Yes, ma'am. Later I
Right?
will.
Got it? Any other doubts with this? Come back.
Ma'am,
Yes.
we have used the L3 switch as for routing, no ma'am, for IP address.
That was a sub interface, no?
Yes, ma'am.
What
We use
do
the same L3 switch for switching also, ma'am, both at a time.
both at a time?
That switch, and that means L3 switch will act as a switching and for IP address. Sub interface also.
See, whenever you have the router, you can do, whenever you have a router, you get into the sub interface. Whenever you have layer 3 switch, you get into the SVI. You can even configure the sub interface on the layer 3 switch. But for that, you have to get into the interface. You have to say no switch port, and then you can assign an IP. That I haven't told you because you will get confused like this. So layer 3 switch, always in the production network, you will find the IPs, which is assigned as a gateway to the SVI, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So like I'll tell you, wait. Where is Endovision? Endovision. So this is the lab task I'm assigning. Head. This is the lab task and this is the VLAN configuration, right? So lab task switching, right? What you have to do, you have to configure L3 switch with inter VLAN SVI configurations, right? And configure layer 2 switch with specified VLANs 100, 200, 300. First valid IP should be the gateway of each VLAN. Each VLAN contains 60 users. IP pool available is 10.0.0.0/24. Design and subnet and design the network in such a way that each VLAN should have at least 62 users. 60 users per to enter VLAN and end communication. End-to-end ping should work. This is your lab assignment. I am posting it right now, right? So what you have to do, you already understood it, right? Now, come back with your doubts first of all, right? With a router on a stick if you have. Please come back with your doubts. Come back with your doubts, whatever you have in your. Yes. See, what you have to do here? This configuration is exactly same, right? Whatever, like, I mean, you have to follow it similar, right? Okay, this is the port number 1, which belongs to VLAN 100, VLAN 200, VLAN 300. And then the port which gets connected to the layer 3 switch becomes trunk. Is it fine, everyone? Till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This configuration is same. Then this is the case 2 which you have to follow, not the case 1. This case 2 you have to follow, because case 1 I have given you the earlier lab, but nobody has asked me the doubts apart from Shrikant, where he asked that it is saying invalid IP. Please come back if you have any problem. Please, before the startup of the session, come back with your doubts. So in this task, what you have to do, you have to get into L3 switch, enable IP routing, VLAN 100, VLAN 200, fine. Then, since you are making L2 switch as trunk, since you are making this port as trunk, I told you the switches have all the ports in auto negotiation mode. This will automatically become trunk, right? So you have to go into port number 1, port number 2, port number 3. Port number 1 belongs to 100, 2 belongs to 200, 3 belongs to 300. This port 4 will become trunk port. And this is port 1, which is automatically trunk. Now you will get into L3 switch. You say interface VLAN 100, IP address 10.1.1.1, 255.255.255.192. Exit. Interface VLAN 200, IP address 10.1.1.63, 255.255.255.192. Exit. Similarly, interface VLAN 300. This here I have written the gateway IPs. This one. So these acts as a gateway IP. And the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.192. And the second IP you will give it to the servers, right? Second IP you will give it to the servers, like the PCs which are connected. The PCs which are connected. This PCs. So this will be 10.1.1.2/26. This will be 10.1.1.64/26. This will be 10.1.1.129/130. Right, 129/130/26, because 10.0.0.1/26 will be VLAN 100, 10.0.0.63/26 will be VLAN 200, and 10.0.0.129/26 will be VLAN 300. Is it okay, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you ask me, come back with your doubts, this assignment which I gave you. I asked you to create 2 VLANs in a switch, connect it with a router. VLAN 10 is having this IP, VLAN 20. I gave you the IP pool. I didn't ask you to design this. Here in this question, I've asked you to do the subnetting. Here I have already given you the subnets. You just have to work out on the valid IP pool. You just give the first valid IP. What is the valid IP range here? Anyone, please come back. Valid IP range of VLAN 10. Tell me. Huh? 10.1.1.1 till 10.1.1.254. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, 20.1.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, 254, ma'am. 255 broadcast ID.
255 is a broadcast ID. Very good. Very good. And similarly here 20.1.1.1 till 20.1.1.254. Right? So nothing we have to do. We have to get into the router and we have to assign the sub interface the first valid IP of this, first valid IP of this. The second valid IPs you can assign it to the servers. And that's it. End-to-end ping should work. I have given you already the configuration. So this was the case one wherein you have to implement this. So you get into the interface, create the VLAN database, get into the interface, no shut, get into the sub interface, tag it with a 10. Why? Because it is a router, it is an instant trunk. So we have to tag it personally that whenever any packet from VLAN 10 comes, you act as a gateway for it. Whose IP is this? Do you get it? And similarly, we have done here. So you have to work out on the valid IP pools. Never work out onto the network ID. Network ID is my address, my home address. You can never assign it to the interface or a PC or a server. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, very good. This is the second assignment. Here I have asked you to design this. Earlier I gave you the fixed IP, right? This is 10, this is 20, you have to configure. Now I have given you, okay, I have 254 IPs. And now if I have 254 IPs and I have three different VLANs, and every VLAN contains 60 users, definitely I will not be using 250 pool. I mean, that's a sheer wastage of IPs. I have a 250 IPs and I only need what? 60 into 3, 180 IPs. I can subnet and I can do it. So this is what exactly in your organizations have. This is the exact scenario your organizations has. Right? So whenever you join an organization, you will get this. Any doubts, guys? Please come back. You will never assign a network ID. Network ID is the ID, the home address that is contained in the routing table of a router or a routing table of a layer 3 switch, right? But IP address, a valid IP address will always be assigned to your what? To your server or to our interface, if it understands IP. One more thing, I am announcing it to the class that I will be sharing VTP configuration, right? So I have not given you any kind of a simulation, right now. So this is the VTP configuration and this is the STP and this is the STP and PBST lab. So three things I'm attaching, right? So this is your VTP and STP config files. Got it, dear? All okay? All set? So this completes your switching, but in my next lecture also, I will ask you certain questions about switching. Be prepared for it. I'm going to mark you on the basis of that. I can ask subnetting and switching all, right? I can give you, if you have laptops, please be prepared with that. Log in via your laptop so that you can install the packet tracer and you can practice on your laptops, right? Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, pretty good. Everyone good, very nice. So, okay, then let's finish it up for today then. So we are already 5 minutes more than what we have scheduled for. So in case you have any doubts, please come back. See, I have explained a lot of things in between my lecture. You can even practice VTP, STP lab like this, right? I have given you the configuration. Then you can practice this lab, VTP lab. I've given you the configurations. I've shared with you the configuration files. Okay. Fine then. Let's wind up then. Fine, no problem. Right? Nobody has any doubts. I think we are good to close. I will ask you my doubts on next Saturday, right? Or probably Sunday morning. I'll intimate because probably next Saturday I might be having some work. But if not available, I'll take the class in Sunday morning. So let me see my schedule. I'll come back to you on this, right? Chalo. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Happy Ugadi, madam.
What? Come again?
Happy Ugadi, madam.
Ma'am, it's Telugu New Year, ma'am, today.
What? Huh?
Telugu New Year, ma'am, today. That is called Ugadi. That's what
Oh,
our
wow.
children, they are greeting you, madam.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Same to you.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Telugu New Year. Wow. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Kannan. Thank you so much, and same to you. Wish you too a very great New Year ahead.
Thank
you. Yeah. Okay, then. See you. Bye bye. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy yourself. Celebrate New Year's.
Thank you.